This week we get into the Trump roulette because we don't believe in Veep stakes. Who can make Trump even worse than he already is? We've got SCOTUS, Alex Jones, some abortion updates, then answer listeners' questions. Now let's get to the show. Welcome back to Hysteria, the podcast hosted by the one-time baby who did all the vice presidential jiggery-pokery for two presidential candidates.
Wow.
Sam Bee.
Wow.
We're here.
I want to know everything. I don't think I ever talked to anyone before who did all that. That's exciting. You have a lot of inside knowledge. Scoops.
You know, the thing is, Sam, is that when I was just a tiny baby cat working for John Kerry, it was the year of our Lord 2000. Actually, I don't even know if that is the year of our Lord, but it was 2000. And he was on Al Gore's shortlist that Al Gore had been telling everyone because recall back in 2000, Al Gore was not really palling around with Bill Clinton on the campaign trail.
Right.
He was like, you survived impeachment, but I think I'm good and I can do this without you. Turned out he couldn't. And so he was trying to make it a little sexy by making the vice presidential announcement a surprise. So the name John Kerry dangled out there. I am with John Kerry in Boston. It wasn't John Kerry. It was Joe Lieberman. Fast forward 4 years. John Kerry's the nominee. I had been with him. I was with him again. And he's just like, Alyssa, we cannot do it that way. I want to be able to have private conversations with people. I want to be able to really hear what people are thinking. And I don't want to use anybody as a foil. I want everyone having like a really dignified process. And so because of that, I like went on the lam for a couple weeks out in America, just getting candidates, nominees like Tom Vilsack, Bill Richardson, all these people all over America to have these private meetings with John Kerry. Then when Barack Obama was the nominee, he said, you know what? I like how Kerry did it. That was a very respectful process. Let's do that. And so that's how we did it. Wow. You know who's not doing it that way?
I could take a guess.
Please take a guess.
Do you think it could be Donald Trump? I don't know.
It's
not sure.
Donald Trump. Sam, he learned nothing but bad lessons on The Apprentice.
Remember dignity? Remember decorum? I don't.
It's like in it's like in Stairway to Heaven. It's like, does anybody remember laughter? It's like, no, dignity. Does anyone remember it? It's been gone.
It's gone. It's gone. It feels like a pastoral dream. It's a beautiful painting of the past.
So, Sam, we are 1 month away from the Republican National Convention, which means we're inching closer and closer to finding out who Trump will select to be his number one bitch. And by bitch, I mean vice president in this instance. So I told you a little bit about what I went through, how we did it.
Yes.
You know, respectful, all that.
All that.
But while all the pundits and cable people are out there being like, who will moderate Trump? Who will help him win? We know that's bullshit, Sam, because whoever Trump picks is going to make him worse. This is about how much more damage can be done.
And so, also, I threw up a little bit when you said that it was a month away. I forgot. Time means nothing. 1 month is going to happen in 4 hours.
I know.
I can't take it.
And here we are. And
I know.
I'm just so glad to be here with you because I know you've got good takes.
Thank you.
And so we're going to go through top tier.
What we're
hearing is the top tier. The GOP's best.
Best of the best. Best of the best. Gold standard.
We've got some U.S. senators in the mix. We got a little J.D. Vance from Ohio. We got Marco Rubio from down in Florida, which, by the way, if there are any listeners like me who thought that you couldn't have a president and vice president from the same state, that actually was a thing back in the early start of this country, but it is not a thing anymore. And we will link to history.com to explain the very confusing reason this is no longer true. But so, unfortunately, Marco is still a viable potential VP. We got Tim Scott, never let us forget, governor of North Dakota, and business person Doug Burgum. They're the top tier. They're what's circulating, or perhaps, Trump does love to float a trial balloon, say names out loud, see what people think of them. But these people have, I don't want to say interesting because that's like a positive connotation to me.
Sure.
These people have stories.
They have stories. They have stories.
So I thought that it would be nice to do a little Sam and Alyssa story time
about
who some of these people are.
That is so nice. Why don't I kick it off?
Please do.
Why don't we kick it off with a little J.D. Vance? Oh, gorgeous. 39 years old, junior senator from Ohio, and a man whose name truly sounds like a refrigeration company. What can we say about ye old J.D., the Yale-educated former venture capitalist, of course, wrote the best-selling book Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir about his middle-class upbringing in the Rust Belt that tricked us all into thinking he was a benevolent moderate. Okay, after Ron Howard produced the film adaptation, I want to say in my own family, there's a line from the movie that is very much in my family rotation, and it's something like, "Fetch mama her pass," or something like that. It's like, just, I don't remember it. It's horrible. Once a staunch never-Trumper, Vance gave himself the full MAGA makeover. Thank God, and went all in on Trump and rallied for him many times. Of course, naturally, he opposes abortion and hinted that he would support a federal ban because why not? When asked whether there should be exceptions for rape and incest, he said, hey, ladies, two wrongs don't make a right.
Thanks, JD.
Comforting, much like his name on the Trump ticket. While Vance said that he thinks he would be of better use to Trump in the Senate. Gracious. He hasn't ruled out being Trump's number one bitch. Oh, JD.
JD. You know what's wrong with his name? I was raised thinking a JD was a jelly donut, which is among one of my favorite treats.
Please, I'm never, ever going to not say his name as Jelly Donut Vance from now on.
Listen, my dad would be like, when we were little, Dad would be like, you want some JDs on Saturday morning? It's like, who didn't want a JD?
JD, Jelly Donut Vance. I always call Mitt Romney Mittens Romney. And so...
But that makes
it so cute. Makes him so lovable.
I know. All right, I'm going to talk about Doug Burgum.
Oh,
Governor Burgum
please.
Of North Dakota. At 67. Also, we will get back to the fact that JD Vance is only 39. That blew
39.
my mind. Yikes.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
Oh my God.
At 67, Doug Burgum remains at the top of the who the fuck is that list of Trump VP contenders. He's currently serving in his second term as North Dakota's governor, the state famous for not being the Dakota with Mount Rushmore. A staunch Republican with zero charisma, Burgum was lost in the shuffle when he ran for the Republican presidential primaries and quickly went on to endorse MAGA Daddy Trump. He began his career in a software startup, which was later bought by Microsoft and propelled him to billionaire status. During his tenure as governor, Burgum has signed multiple veto-proof anti-trans bills that included a near-total ban on gender-affirming care for minors. His overall minimal drama, milquetoast looks, and fat checkbook makes him the perfectly irrelevant VP candidate for Trump.
God, that checkbook is fat. That checkbook is real fat, and I do think he also has the visuals that Trump likes.
He's like has a tailored suit.
And he hangs out with rich people, and he's like an actual billionaire who actually made his money, which makes Trump is like, oh, I love that about you.
But don't you actually would see if I were Trump, if I could dare to put myself in his shoes, I'd be like, I feel like Doug Burgum knows I'm a fraud because he actually made his money, right? So he's got to know that the Trump, Allen, Hasselbaum, whatever his name was, he knows.
I know.
He knows that they were frauding.
He knows, but he may have repressed that memory or that shame. Maybe just so repressed now, it's just so packed down into his shoes that he doesn't even. He's just we're the same. I'm smart too.
I'm smart. We both have hair that has like a weird wave to it.
Look at us. We're the same. Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to move into Marco Rubio
Yes, ma'am.
territory. Also can't believe I'm fucking older than Marco Rubio. Like
These things are all upsetting.
Like I was like a full teenager when JD Vance was born, but it bugs me that I'm older than Marco Rubio.
I get it.
This bothers me. At only 52. Good for you. Marco Rubio is arguably the hottest VP contender and most famous for being bestowed the nickname Lil Marco by his potential future running mate. Rubio is currently the senior senator from Florida and the son of a working-class Cuban immigrant family. While he's had an on-again, off-again situationship with Trump, Rubio endorsed him very early on in the primary season. While Rubio is responsible for backing many egregious actions like ending DACA, his biggest offense was in 2013 when he gave the Republican response to Obama's State of the Union. And so aggressively, so loudly, took a sip of water.
Like crimes against that glass of water.
Unforgettable. Just an unforgettable performance. And there have been many in the rebuttal world, but that was...
Oh, we're going to get to some of those, too.
It will haunt him until the end of his life. He's also been kicked around as potential VP picks for Mitt Romney. God knows who else solidifying himself as Florida's thirstiest candidate.
In every way.
Indeed. Literally and
Sam,
figuratively.
Here's my thing with all these people. I can't tell who's the worst for America. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Like we often say on the show, funny to us, bad for America.
Yes.
Right? Like this is kind of where we are.
Yeah.
But like of all of them, who do you think is the worst for America?
For America. Of these ones we've talked about, well, they're all pretty bad. But I kind of feel like JD Vance is of particular badness. I agree. Because he's a grievance machine.
Yeah.
And he is a person with vendettas. And he is so angry at people who have turned their backs on him. And I just feel grievance. I feel revenge. I feel that he's smart and surgically nasty.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. He is the one, you know who he reminds me of a little bit? Who? Stephen Miller.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And that he is smart enough to not just be deeply cruel,
yes,
but to figure out ways to execute on the cruelty.
That's what really frightens me about the whole enterprise. It's just like arming yourself with all those people who share your cruelty. Like JD Vance isn't going to be like, I'll do all the ribbon cuttings. He's
exactly.
You know, he's an actual smart guy who could probably be an effective, lethal weapon and I can't stand his stance on anything, really.
And you know what else is, I think, very dangerous about him, and this is kind of a place we've gotten to in politics, I mean, GOP politics,
right?
Is that, no, you can't trust anything anyone says. Like, they have proven he was a never Trumper. Then he's like, I'll do anything for power.
Yeah.
They're like, you know that none of them, I mean, maybe some of them, but for the most part, they're all hiding from this abortion stuff. They don't want really, they know that they went too far and that this is not a good thing for them.
Right.
But the vocal fringe pro-life people, anti-abortion activists, they make noise, you know? So they don't want to like set them ablaze either. So for any of the people listening to our podcast today who are thinking of not voting this time around because they're not excited by the choices, right?
Oh, God.
We're not done with you. We're not done with you because now we're going to talk about some possible cabinet members who, remember, have lots of power too. This isn't just Trump, right?
Yeah.
So the first one, well, Kristi Noem, but actually she's out on account of canine murder, so she's not on the list anymore.
That's the one thing you cannot get away with.
She overshot that. She
did.
She misunderstood America's tolerance for violence against dogs.
She did not meet the moment.
No, she did not.
No. No. Oh, yeah. Ben Carson, America's most boring man with the most interesting life story, better known as Trump's former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. I know him as the man who got lost behind the curtains at at a debate. And I'll never forget. I'll never forget him just feeling his way around the curtains and getting lost in a corner, like in a corn maze, with cameras on him.
It feels like your first recital.
Yeah.
They wheel you out in your tutu and then you have to find your way back.
Yep. Okay, he has not publicly been seeking this role, but he's in the mix anyway. The personification of a man who is just kind of like always there, always messed up in the curtains. He's a pediatric neurosurgeon.
Yikes.
Yeah, what? Not based on anything I've ever seen him do. Let's just say that. Who also believes that the climate debate is irrelevant and thinks that there's always going to be either cooling or warming going on. It's just great. He's also failed 2016 presidential candidate, so he's been a little MIA, but he's always in the mix. His name just comes up all the time.
Do you know who is the opposite, in my opinion,
Who?
of Ben Carson?
Who?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh, God.
Sam, he's only 38. He's like, what? I am 10. Okay, I'm going to go to Marco Rubio. Like, I am 10 years older than Vivek. And it's just wild. At 38, what never would have crossed my mind? Running for president.
Like what?
Like what?
Oh, God, you think too much of yourself, sir.
He is a biotech entrepreneur with no previous political experience and even less charm. He came out swinging during the Republican presidential primaries with his grandstanding, bold policy agendas, and obnoxious voice. He's anti-affirmative action, thinks LGBTQ plus people are in a cult, calls abortion murder, says climate change is a hoax, and vowed to use the strength of the U.S. military to annihilate Mexican cartels. Also, he wants to dissolve the EPA and the Department of Education. When he dropped out of the primaries, he put his full support behind Donald Trump. Though, Sam, we rank him low on the list because Trump could never share the spotlight with someone even more loud and unpleasant than he is. I
think you are right. I don't see them. I don't see it. I don't see the sign. I can't see the campaign sign. I just don't. It doesn't.
Trump Ramaswamy?
Nope. I'm not feeling it.
I agree with you. It doesn't feel Trumpy. It doesn't feel appropriately MAGA enough.
No.
No.
Well, I don't know. How about America's biggest flop and Mickey Mouse's most hated rival, Ron DeSantis?
Ron DeSantis.
Meatball Ron.
Meatball.
Stands to be the most pathetic man in history. If he were to accept the VP role, I'll never forget Meatball Ron. Is the one thing Trump ever did that I liked. I was like, Meatball Ron is very good. It's a very high quality put down. He emerged into the spotlight during the pandemic as a Republican COVID-hating hero and cruised right into a landslide re-election for Florida governor 2022. He was once seen as the only Republican who could beat Trump, and now he is seen as the only Southern man unable to pull off cowboy boots. Boots of any kind. His presidential bid absolutely crashed and burned almost as soon as it began. It was spectacular. It's just like in real time watching the reality of someone's life meet the expectations people had created for him and just watching it
And fast forward.
Oh, it's painful. DeSantis is very famous for trying to go against Disney, a company that has a $40 billion economic impact on Florida, and for hating gay and trans people. He's tucked his tail between his tiny legs and thrown his full support between the man who once floated calling him Tiny D. How does that feel? How do you look in the mirror? How do you wake up and go, that's me, Meatball Ron. I go as the wind. I go where the...
Meatball Ron. Meatball Ron.
I like to pick a winner.
Could you imagine if Trump picked him for anything?
I mean...
He could be so dangerous. The man hates books.
Hates books.
So and also DeSantis, like Ramaswamy, is like, if I get anywhere near it, I'm dissolving the EPA.
Mm-hmm.
I am disbanding the Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are like perilous picks.
Yes.
These could make Betsy DeVos look like moderate.
Yes. He's a man full of grievance, like a J.D. Vance, just like seething with hatred.
Of everyone, especially the person deep down who could potentially pick him to be a cabinet secretary.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, my God.
Okay, I got another one for us. Another youngin', okay? Katie Britt. We're both older than Katie Britt.
Oh, yeah.
She's 42. You may remember her as that creepy housewife who delivered the Republican response to the President Biden's State of the Union speech. First-term senator from Alabama. She furthered her creepy status when she introduced the, okay, ready, Sam?
Yeah.
The More Opportunities for Moms to Succeed Act. The Moms Act.
Good.
Moms.
Very good.
That would create a federal database that could collect data on pregnant people.
Oh, moms love that.
What would they do with that information, do you think?
Can't imagine. Something good.
Well, she was widely mocked when she delivered the State of the Union response. According to the BBC, her, quote, temperate policy positions and moderate demeanor could make her a powerful ally in the race. Also going to throw in that having Scarlett Johansson play her on SNL didn't hurt her likability with Trump either.
Yes, that makes sense. I mean, this is a real who's who.
Well, here's the thing, Sam. While we're poking fun at the absolute loons that top Trump's list of candidates for very important positions in a Trump presidency, in all seriousness, I want to ask you, what are the things about a Trump presidency, second time around, that concern you the most?
There is so much that concerns me about. I'm actually, as I'm talking to you, I'm literally tearing. I'm clutching my chest.
Your throat.
I am.
You're girding yourself.
I am. There is so much to worry about. I mean, how do we even, okay, I guess we begin, I think what will happen right away, and what I think will happen right away is that there will be just like a rapid and comprehensive pursuit of like consolidating presidential power.
Yep.
So, I mean, like conservatives have been working on that for decades, like since Nixon, maybe before, I don't even know. So it'll be, so he's going to try to consolidate as much power as humanly possible, centralizing it, like so that total executive power resides in the body of the president. And it could become illegal to, just removing all impediments to power.
Right.
First order of operations. Dismantling precedents, obviously. Weaponizing the Justice Department scares the hell out of me. Just like he's going to unleash an army of score settlers.
Yeah.
And I do worry that he will make great strides in just like invading, like plundering his critics. I actually really worry what will happen to the FCC. You know, like when Putin came to power, the first thing he did was like shut down a puppet show about him that made him look like a clown.
Right. So God, I forgot about that.
So I really worry about journalists. I worry about people who make jokes about him. I worry about television channels. I worry about like voices of dissent getting kind of like shut down, kind of like being just thrown out of the public sphere. think he'll militarize the border, escalate deportations and birthright citizenship. And I mean very fast, as fast as possible. When I think about Trump and when I think about what scares me the most, I think he's very concerned with his petty, he has his petty grievances. He has his vendettas, the people that he wants to go after who've been critical of him, who've gone after him in the past. So that's his deal. So when I really look at the things that scare me, I actually look to Stephen Miller. I actually look to the people he surrounds himself with who have their own agenda, which is, separate but parallel, who I think of as a very dangerous person. So I know that, or I've heard that they're obviously actively searching for an army of lawyers who are more loyal to Trump than they are to the rule of law. They're already doing that. And I did read that he was working, he has a plan to focus on anti-white racism.
Oh,
a reinterpretation of civil rights.
Right.
That that makes white people the victims of racism. Mm-hmm. And I think the specter of mob violence, quite honestly, is going to have a very chilling effect on people. I think it's going to be very hard to speak out against him. And they've made it so. So I'm actually very afraid of these very tangible things.
And you know what I'm afraid of?
What are you afraid of?
I'm going to put a button on everything that you just said.
Yeah.
Is that if Trump becomes president, he will have become president without facing any consequences for the crimes he committed the first time.
Right.
Which will embolden him.
Yes.
In ways we cannot imagine. And beyond that, I know that I'm going to say something somewhat controversial, but his first cabinet and his first vice president, it kind of turns out fucking Mike Pence wasn't my cup of tea. But when the rubber hit the road, he kind of knew how, he tried to stop an insurrection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was like, okay. And it's I don't like Steve Mnuchin, but Steve Mnuchin will seem like Janet Yellen's status based on who he could pick this time around to be Treasury Secretary. So, like we said at the top, cruising into the RNC, all these things matter. We know everyone's tired. We know the news cycle's terrible, but please stay engaged. Stay engaged because there's so many bad things that could potentially be happening.
So many bad things that we can't even picture that seem incomprehensible. Unfettered Trump, unchecked by anything,
on anything,
not having anyone who can or will say no to him is something. It's not really imaginable, and it's going to change everything.
Yeah, and of all the things, now we're just going to go into SCOTUS.
Great.
SCOTUS. So we're going to do a quick roundup of some other stories that are happening. So one, SCOTUS, the gift that keeps on giving. Literally, they keep getting gifts, and we keep being given these gifts. They had to finally do their disclosures. And can I tell you, Sam, again, maybe I'm going to say something controversial. Look, one of the things that came out of the disclosures is that Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson got Beyonce tickets from Beyonce. I have no problem with that. I really don't, because you know what? She disclosed it. And Beyonce doesn't have business in front of the Supreme Court. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, fine. I don't have almost all of them have book deals now at this point, though. Ketanji Brown Jackson getting the most money of anybody,
That's
which
nice.
I like to see. That feels correct. Brett Kavanaugh does not feel as though he has a compelling story to tell. No. You know what I mean?
No.
Unless they're getting squee on the record. I'm just not sure this is something that's going to be interesting to me.
Squee on the record.
Remember Squee?
Oh, I remember Squee. Oh.
That monster. Now, to no one's surprise, Justice Samuel Alito did not send in a report. He's got a 90-day extension. Fine. Reminder that this rotten piece of ham has been under fire for flying upside-down flags outside of his homes. Speaking of the upside-down flag, Alito's wife, Martha Ann Alito, was secretly recorded at the Supreme Court Historical Society's annual dinner earlier this month saying, quote, "You come after me, I'm going to give it back to you." There will be a way. It doesn't have to be now, but there will be a way. They know. Don't worry about it. Okay. First of all, I think it's real funny that this came out the same week that it was like the 17th anniversary of the final episode of Sopranos, because clearly she's been watching, because she's talking like Tony. Not even Tony. She's talking like Christopher. Tony wouldn't even say shit this wild. So here's the thing, credit where it's due. To quote The Hill, the remarks were recorded by progressive filmmaker Lauren Windsor, who attended the event as a member of the society under her real name, though she posed as a conservative to elicit answers from Alito and others. Now, allegedly, according to CNN at the same event, she recorded Justice Alito seeming to endorse her suggestion that, quote, people in this country who believe in God have got to keep fighting for that to return our country to a place of godliness, to which Alito said, well, I agree with you. I agree with you. Sam? Sam? When is Martha Ann gonna stop?
Oh.
Like, again, this is the problem. These people get caught and, like, nothing happens. And they're just like, let me keep talking.
But, like, I do feel like even though they were recorded saying these things, we already know that they feel these things. It's not shocking. So they say it on tape. They say it in their actions. I don't know that it's not a shocker. It's not really, to me, a moment of, like, interesting that he would be willing. I'm like, that's how this is very open. He's very, very open. Thanks.
It just makes us feel less crazy.
Makes me feel less crazy, certainly. God, Martha, she loves flags. She just loves a flag. Although I will say that her position of, like, I don't know when my revenge will happen, but it will happen, is something that I share.
It's respectable.
I
mean,
share.
in that way, it's like, it's not respectable, it's relatable.
It's relatable. It's a relatable way to see to say that revenge is a dish best served cold. Have to agree with her on that point. Of course, but this is I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's so worrying. It's all so goddamn worrying.
Speaking of, well, I guess this is a little sweet justice. Alex Jones, the InfoWars maniac. He's asking the court permission to liquidate his personal assets to pay off the more than $1.5 billion he owes in damages to the families of the Sandy Hook victims. Sam, you may recall that for the past 10 years, he's been saying, didn't happen, it's a hoax, doxing families of victims. He's a deeply disgusting fucking person. I'm glad to see that it's gotten to this point. Because, Sam, also, do you know what's happening this week?
Oh, what's happening this week?
The first graders, the kids who were in the first grade class at Sandy Hook, are graduating high school. That's what's happening this week.
Okay.
So after all this time, he is finally facing some consequences for being a despicable, sick human being.
I like anything that inconveniences or makes Alex Jones's life bad. I approve this message in all ways. Anything that makes him cry and blubber and worry and gives him a stomach upset is what I support for the rest of his natural born days.
Yep.
And beyond.
And, like, Godspeed to the graduates.
Yes.
Sandy Hook Elementary, first grade class this week.
Godspeed to the graduates, Lord.
And it wouldn't be an episode of Hysteria if we didn't give you an update on anti-abortion fuckery, also been happening. Samsy, we have to dig deep to find these articles, oftentimes with the help of Jessica Valenti's great newsletter, Abortion Every Day.
Fantastic.
So we're going to start in Texas, a state that continues to make Ann Richards roll over in her grave daily.
Yes.
Okay, so first, the city of Amarillo. Here's the other problem with these people. The fuck? In the city of Amarillo, some residents want to take the statewide abortion ban one step further and ban the use of city roads by people who are on their way to get the procedure somewhere else. And this is starting to be called, quote, abortion travel bans. So here's the deal with Amarillo. It's a city whose streets and highways connect Texas to Kansas Colorado, New Mexico, where abortion is still legal. So residents like Mark Lee Dixon, who founded the group Sanctuary Cities for the Unborn, said, we're experiencing all these horrors like abortion trafficking. What?
Mark Lee, are you really personally experiencing this horror?
They just come up with this shit and they're like, it's just like vigilantism all across Texas.
How in the world does this work? How's that going to work?
Can I tell you what it reminds me of? It's like, and only women of a certain age will get this reference. Mm-hmm. It is like malevolent Barney Fife just making citizens arrests all over Mayberry. Like, that's who these people are.
100%. Yes.
Right?
It's so disgusting. Please, Mark Lee and all your friends, get a better hobby. Please. Go learn a language.
Sam, what's happening in Arkansas? This one's actually like complicated. I had to read this multiple times. What is happening in Arkansas?
I know. Okay. In Arkansas, anti-choice supporters are stirring up some very dangerous shit. Okay, so this time it is the right-wing family council, and who are directly attacking supporters of a proposed Arkansas constitutional abortion amendment. So they're spearheading a decline to sign campaign to encourage voters not to sign a petition for a state constitutional abortion amendment. But they're taking it a very creepy and very bad step further. So they posted on their website the list of the 79 paid canvassers from the amendment group, who are leading the charge to collect. They're just collecting ballot signatures. I think they're like 3/4 of the way there. So they're just calling them out by name and the town that they live in. So it's kind of like partially doxing these people.
That's fucking crazy.
It's fucking crazy. They obtained the list of paid canvassers in their home cities through an Arkansas Freedom of Information Act request. It's not the first time that the Family Council has used these intimidation tactics on abortion amendment supporters. Last month, a canvasser was confronted by police and told that both Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders and the Arkansas Martin Luther King Jr. Commission did not want her and others canvassing at the intersection of 9th and State. They told them that they could be arrested for obstructing traffic. This is crazy to me.
It's crazy.
This is so dangerous. I
mean, we knew that the Huck was going to be like that.
Oh,
she became
100%. Yeah,
governor.
This is no surprise.
But again, a reminder, their tactics know no boundaries.
They know no boundaries. No boundaries. Close the roads. Let's go.
Close the roads.
Yep.
It's like what is it, like a seatbelt check? And like when you know, like in the town where I live in upstate New York, there are always these seatbelt checks. Like you go through, please. Yeah. What are they going to do? Just look at you and be like, you pregnant? I mean, it's fucking insane.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely places near the Texas border with checkpoints.
Yeah.
It's just checkpoints. Are we just going to fill the country with checkpoints?